This is Dead Island 2. We're here on PlayStation 5. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So I've played through this on the Xbox side of things. I thought it would be a great time to take a look at the PlayStation 5 version and see what it has to offer gameplay-wise. So this is the long-awaited sequel to Dead Island. I mean, there was Dead Island Riptide, which was more of a... it was a continuation of the first game, but I guess not really considered a full sequel. Then there was, like, numerous spin-offs trying to escape Dead Island, and, you know. But we finally got a sequel, which was, I guess, kind of exciting to some degree, considering I had been waiting so long for it, and I think a lot of other people were too, and it went through various iterations, and the end result, interesting, needless to say, and let's dive in and talk about it from that perspective. Like I said, I did work through it. I've done at least one of the expansions as well on the Xbox side of things, if not maybe both of them. I don't know, I think there's two, whatever. Anyways, the core game is pretty extensive movement through, I guess you would say, like the Los Angeles area, where the zombies have infected the location. So if you kind of played the first Dead Island, that was literally on an island, and then the big tease was them finally going, I guess you would say, global, so it's in Los Angeles. There's zombies everywhere. You have to do quests. You can do so alone, or you can have 3 players kind of coming together in order to fight off the zombies and the undead. And you get to explore a bunch of different areas. It's not open world, but it's sort of like, I always call them Fable hub worlds, where they're like slightly open world type areas you go to. You go from like the beaches to like kind of like the main street, and there's a few different iconic places from the surrounding area that you get to visit and dive into, which is kind of interesting. So, what are we going to hear on the PlayStation 5? It's a dynamic 4K resolution. It's like 1800-ish p. It is 60 FPS. A zombie. And, yeah, HDR support. Some incredible damage models for zombies, which is genuinely impressive. So, like, you can literally shred every little bit of the zombie, which is kind of insanely impressive. Like, this has to be, I think, the most detailed model for, like, I suppose zombies we've seen. Like, you can literally, like, every little bit of it. I think you'll kind of see more of that as we hit the zombies. But, like, if you get, like, a freshly compiled zombie and you sit there and you, like, break, say, the chest cavity, you can literally, like, keep breaking, and all the, like, you can see the bones kind of shatter. You can see the, kind of the rib cage sort of open, and all the squishy bits and all that kind of come out, and you could really just keep breaking down the models, and it's disgusting, and also really cool because you could just sit there and, like, you can see how it just sort of shreds. Like, that character destruction model is phenomenal, because every time you hit, like, a zombie, every time you know, kind of attack one or you do some damage, it's going to be a little different and a little dynamic, because you get to see the breakdown in such unique ways. And I think that is so beautifully done in this game, and kind of the big standout for me, just graphically, is seeing, you know, sort of this breakdown of the bits and stuff. It's really, really quite genuinely impressive. And, like, again, I don't think there's any other video game that has a character model of destruction that is quite like that. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. It really genuinely is. Like, it's actually kind of fun to sit there and sort of just, like, kind of take it in and I guess you would say, interact with that model and just kind of play around with it and see what kind of crazy things and damage you can do. Which is exciting. Are we supposed to leave the area, or... Is there anything still alive here? I'm pretty sure every... Oh, you're still alive. Okay, sorry, I totally missed you. So yeah, that's kind of like the technical side of things. It's really, really quite impressive from the technical elements of it. And it looks pretty good, and visually it's pretty fine, and I think this guy's had better days.
Back on the road soon, Carla. You got this.
Yeah, and you get to pick your character. So there's a selection of different characters that have different kind of abilities. It's a bit of a change up from the class kind of base setup of the original game. But like it plays into it pretty well, and you know, there's like a bit of a story you go through. It's not like the most incredible narrative. It's solid, it's okay. Personally, I found some of the difficulty elements of this one. Like, I found some of it was a little, like, ridiculously difficult. I think they've definitely done some balancing and adjustments, but yeah, there were definitely some difficulty challenges that I faced when playing the game that I found a little annoying. I don't know if others kind of felt that. But for me, I was like, you know, this is a little crazy and a little annoying, but you know, if you're in a squad, it's certainly a lot easier, and I think a lot more fun to play when you're in a team. Okay, so this is one area, so this is like the map of the stars, and this is where I kind of say, like, you're free to kind of go through the areas. You're free to, I guess you would say, explore and visit the different sections once you continue to survive and do new things and gather new stuff, which is kind of exciting. And there's crafting elements and building things up and scrap and all that. But, like, yeah, it is a lot more fun to actually play this as a team, especially if you have a bit of a higher level person come in and handle things. And yeah, it's kind of an interesting setup. And then, again, your skills and your cards, and you kind of modify, improve the cards, whole card-based system.
They'll never get through me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very well done. I think it takes advantage of the PlayStation 5 pretty effectively too, for like how you feel the game, which is kind of nice. Like, you know, feeling those hits, feeling the crunches and all that, and it's not the ambitious sequel that I was sort of hoping for. Like, I really did kind of expect them. Like, not every game needs to go to some large open world sort of thing, if that makes sense. Like, not every game needs to do that sort of thing. I was just expecting them to, like, kind of go in that direction, just because the assumption was after, like, over a decade? I think it was, like, over a decade of waiting. I think, actually, you know what? The sequel announcement date to the release of this was about a decade, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I was just anticipating something that would have been a little larger in scale, whereas it did feel like this game was actually, like, smaller in scale in comparison to the first game almost, but, like, you know, a lot more graphically intensive and like a decent length for narrative. It's not too bad. It's just like,
Nothing personal, dude.
yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of expecting something a little kind of crazier and more ambitious considering the time. Is it doing that thing where it like talks? I hate these audio collectibles that pop up. Ugh.
Oh, you guys had a bad time, huh?
Like, I guess it kind of gives you context into what happened. I just don't like when it plays when I'm trying to talk, because it, like, interrupts everything. But for the most part, you kind of know where you're going, and, yeah, as I said, like, it all handles well, it all plays pretty well. It's just what kind of experience you're sort of hoping to have. Oh, and there's different types of zombies. That one's, like, runner. Like, some of them move a little faster than other ones. Some are a little more mutated and disgusting, and There really is like a wide range of different zombies and ways to interact with zombies and ways to destroy zombies. Like, this is just like incredible levels of destruction detail. Like, it's actually so insane. Like, I can't believe they were actually able to achieve that kind of a model and put this in it, because it really is like you can just, and it's disgusting too, but in the best of ways, what you would expect out of a zombie thing. Wonder if we'll ever get this in other games, or if it would be too kind of graphic to do this kind of a concept. I know I'm wasting my weapon here, but isn't this just like kind of crazy to see like the bone bits and stuff shattering? Like, it's just genuinely amazingly well done. Like, it's such a complex and layered system there. It's like they spent more time on that than other stuff. I don't know. Like, I don't mind this game in the slightest. Like, I think it's actually kind of fun and enjoyable, and it's got some depth and it's some layering to it. It's just like, yeah, there were a couple parts where the difficulty was like a little much. I don't know if I was supposed to grind to do... Probably supposed to grind to do more side missions, I guess. You could say, but... I don't know. I kind of wanted something a little, I think, more ambitious, considering the time that I waited for a sequel. But I think for those coming into Dead Island fresh, like, you don't have to have played, you know, any of the earlier stuff to enjoy this. It's basically its own thing. It leans into the lore stuff well, but, you know, it offers something new and fresh. And the biggest hope, though, for me personally, is that this is a launching point for them to essentially, like, make a third Dead Island a lot quicker, building off of these concepts and stuff. Like, I think, like, the LA area is actually, like, a really cool place to do this kind of a game. Like, there is a lot of fun stuff that you can interact with and see, and there's a good amount of detail here, and you know, it paints a picture pretty effectively. Like, essentially with these types of zombie games, you could limitlessly do this. You know, obviously the zombies are out and about living their best zombie lives, right? But you could basically just like pick a different city and do a different Dead Island every year if you wanted to. If you could develop the games fast enough, and I'm sure they would be liked by people. There's no limitation, basically, is what I'm trying to say, for like where you could put these games. It's creative. Wow, that zombie went flying. It's creative that this exists as you know, in the city. Like, I think just the element of this actually being in Los Angeles is really, really quite cool. It's a great backdrop. Like, the first game was about, you know, this cool, crazy vacation place. You know, you get that whole island kind of vibe that affects the areas, and then this is Los Angeles, and I know there was different iterations of this over time, too, I guess. Was this supposed to be like a party that was going on, I think? Like, everything molded out pretty fast. How long has this infection thing been going on, eh? Yeah. Lots of stuff to loot, too. So, like, you really could, you know, foundationally, like, build all kinds of cool experiences. Getting zapped would be bad. Yes, it would. Is there, they, like, have frayed, the wires frayed there. I'm, like, wondering if you could, like, electrocute it. Like, I know you can do electric things if you have, like, modifiers and stuff. I don't think I have anything to set the electric stuff up right now, but there is usually... Oh, can we actually do this? Oh, it needs a battery. Okay, there. No, we can do it. It's not electrocuting the zombies. Okay, you're getting electrocuted. Why? Oh, that body's already gone. Oh, okay. It's just the big pink flamingo floaty. All right. Anyways, getting back on topic. It's oh, we were already in here. Unbelievable. It's just like, it's a neat concept that you can do all kinds of different things with, and it mostly feels like the world and the universe of Dead Island is largely unexplored. Obviously, people may be a little bit attached to their characters from the original Dead Island, but you could just flop a new set of quirky characters in different areas and do them anywhere, and you can have all kinds of different situations and combat and excitement and challenges and fun chaos. And I do hope they kind of go for more
My head is gonna explode.
large-scale ambition. I think would be the biggest thing.
It's crazies everywhere. It's a miracle you didn't get bit.
It's just kind of like, oh, I am bit.
What? Ew. This is actually very cool and badass.
Get away from this house! You
Takes the gun from him. Anyways, everything gets worked out. We're all buddies. Yeah, I know about the skill deck. It would just be cool to have something, you know, large, and like the reflection in this is so badly done. Like that looks just... I wouldn't even have bothered with that kind of reflection because it just doesn't work. Anyways, no, but it really would have been cool to just have this absolutely massive, ambitious open world that you could like visit and stuff. Because that's kind of the vibe you got from the first game, is they wanted it to be open world, and you know, they just weren't kind of able to. They have like a large area to it.
Are you sure?
take the gun!
Keep it. I'm getting up close.
It's time for me to go and kill some zombies. Because apparently we're just crazy. Every character we get in the Dead Island series is just kind of crazy. But when there's zombies around, you're, you know, not too crazy. And they do lead into all the fun stuff of you being in Los Angeles. As I mentioned, like the beaches. There's a whole, like, obviously, like a movie type thing going on, which is really cool. And the DLC stuff, if you dive into that, there's one where it's a whole cult type thing, and you know, they lean into like the concert type scene and the hip style of being in Los Angeles, and they use the setting effectively, if that makes sense. Like they definitely
I see the problem. We gotta close that gate.
had a mapped out situation and set up for what they wanted to do here.
Come on. Out of
Find a circuit breaker. You gotta find batteries. They're everywhere. You always gotta be looking for batteries, eh? And all the time in this. My weapon wheels.
breaker. But these rich
Full.
people gotta have spares.
These are all destroyed. Give me my better weapon, I think, right? You're not equipped. You're not equipped. Wait, huh? Are you equipped? Drop you. We don't need you. Okay, how many weapons do I have? 3. Okay, good. This one. Find a circuit breaker. Well, where's the circuit breaker? Unbelievable. I gotta go down into the garage where all the zombies are. They do give you a lot of cool tools, though, to take out the undead. That I always appreciated.
Go in the garage.
Yeah, you get to do all these cool moves, jumps, attacks, dives, and you really do become more powerful, I guess you would say, too. Especially as the story progresses and you level up your character. Like, it's an RPG game, like it's a role-playing game, right?
Don't need to be on.
So eventually you get enough skill, talent, and abilities where you are able to actually be like this tough menace to the undead and cause all these problems. And yeah, it's just some of this stuff is a little bit more difficult than other stuff. And I don't know. Like, I'd say tonally it's pretty on par with Dead Island 1 and the Riptide and stuff like that. Those games are actually pretty cool to check out too, if you've never played them. Ugh. You know, they're definitely an intriguing thing of their eras, and there was the remastered packages that are still playable.
I think I might be
Be nice
good
to have
at
those
this.
upgraded too, I guess, but I think even like kind of graphically they almost a little bit on par with this one, which is neat. But Dead Island 2, it's kind of okay. Just get prepared for a little bit of a difficulty at times. If you can play with buddies, I think you have a lot more fun playing this game. Like personally, having a squad going around and mashing the zombies down just makes it a lot more of an enjoyable experience. And
Incredible! You guys
then there's other DLC and things that take it a little bit further, and you know, light story, but some story, mostly about the chaos, destruction, and smashing of zombies, which is fun.